There is a simple truth about reality that most people are unaware of. And once you understand it, you'll recognize that reality is not just external events you react to that are separate from your consciousness. Reality is not happening to you. It's projected out from you. And that projection and how you experience reality is shaped by your beliefs, the definitions and meanings you decide are true. Whatever your mind chooses to believe at any given moment in time is what it forms reality around. Whether that belief is true or false means very little. Once a thought is taken in and believed, your entire being responds to that belief. And this isn't philosophy, this is physiology. This is the placebo effect. What scientists call placebo is simply the biological evidence that your belief instructs your body how to behave. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls this becoming your own placebo, because the moment you believe something will help or harm you, your brain and body begin producing the chemistry to make it true. Your brain releases neurotransmitters that match the belief. Your body produces hormones consistent with the expectation. Your nervous system shifts into a state you decided to embody. Your cells receive chemical instruction that match what you believe is true, not what is objectively true, because they mirror the frequency you embody. In thousands of documented cases, people healed through nothing more than the conviction that they would. Because the body doesn't respond to what is true, it responds to what you believe is true. That means something very simple and very profound. The placebo effect isn't an anomaly, it's the blueprint of how reality actually works. The moment you choose a belief, your biology follows, your perception follows, your reality follows. If you choose to believe something will benefit you, it will. If you choose to believe it won't, it won't. You're the one determining the meaning you experience. You're the one determining whether something stagnates you or evolves you. No one else, you. When you listen to a teaching and you make the determination that the teaching is profound, that it resonates with you, and that it will help you grow, it will. Your reality reorganizes itself around the belief you embody, which serves your growth in this moment. It becomes a theme appropriate for your evolution, guiding you exactly where you need to go. You cannot make a mistake. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as failure. As Bashar says, there is only you discovering yourself from a new point of view. End quote. Everything that happens to you serves your growth. Every event evolves you in some way. Every harmful or compassionate act presents you with a growth experience, an opportunity for expansion. If you choose to believe and truly embody the belief that my teachings will help you expand your consciousness, they will. If you choose to believe they're meaningless and they can't help you, they won't. That's how powerful you are. You are the one who chooses. Your beliefs about your life, your worth, your health, they are the architects of your personal reality. In the White Book, Ramtha expresses this with incredible clarity. Quote, "If you believe in your limited form, that is your truth. If you believe in your unlimited form, then that is your truth. The moment you know your body can heal itself, that thought sends a spark through the central nervous system to where the damaged part causes the DNA factor within each cell to clone and reconstruct the cell perfectly." End quote. Ramtha also went on to say this about aging and dying. Quote, "Only by acknowledging age and deterioration do you die and lose immortality. How does the body live forever? By telling it to. Live only in the ongoingness of this now. If you accept the concept of age, you will begin to degrade the life force in your body. Thoughts of age send a low-frequency electrical spark to each cellular structure. The slower the speed, the greater the loss of agility in the body, and it becomes lessened in its ability to rejuvenate and restore itself, leading to age and then death of the body. If you allowed yourself to continuously receive higher thought frequencies, they would send faster and more high-powered electrical frequencies throughout the body, causing it to stay forever in the moment and never age or die." End quote. Bashar echoes the same sentiment by sharing that when we live in the present moment, we become timeless, ageless. The now state suspends your relationship to time, and because aging is a function of time, it begins to loosen its hold on you. We've spoken many times before on how important it is to live in the present moment, in the now, not in the past or the future, but in the now. Not only does it negate worry, anxiety, and distress we attach to the present and future, but it suspends the aging process. And this brings us to something very powerful that shapes our beliefs: the power of words. The words you choose and the words others speak can have tremendous power over you, but only if you believe them. Words don't even need to be true to have a profound effect on us, shaping our emotional, physical, and spiritual reality. Let me give you a simple example. There's a beautiful book called The Instant Millionaire by Mark Fisher about a young man who visits an old gardener who teaches him the secrets of wealth. In the book, the young man listens to the guidance of the old gardener, an eccentric millionaire, and becomes engrossed in the exercises the old man gives him on how he can become an instant millionaire. He stays for dinner, and the gardener invites him to stay the night in his beautiful palatial home. The old man explains that words have an extraordinary impact on our inner and outer lives. They are omnipotent. Most people are completely unaware of this principle and fail to use it, or use it to their detriment. The young man is skeptical, failing to understand the importance of words, and especially how they can help him become a millionaire. The old millionaire was absorbed in his own thoughts for a moment. Then he said, "On the desk up in your room, there is a booklet that explains this theory in a very enlightening way. Go and find it. It's very short." The young man returns to his room, closes the door, and searches for the booklet. There was no booklet, but he found a letter that was apparently addressed to him, even though it didn't have his name on it. It was inscribed, "Letter to a young millionaire." He opened it. It contained a single word: farewell. Signed, the instant millionaire. The young man felt his heartbeat flutter. He looked around the room and saw a computer with a single sentence repeated over and over on the screen. "You have 1 hour left to live. You have 1 hour left to live." The young man was horrified. If this was a joke, it was certainly in bad taste. Why would the instant millionaire want to hurt him? Want him to die? Maybe the old millionaire was a madman, hiding his murderous tendencies behind a veneer of kind-heartedness. The young man was confused and decided he wasn't going to take any risk. He was going to get out of there and forget the magical theories the millionaire had used to fuel his gullible imagination. He went to the door, but it was firmly locked. He shook the handle. Suddenly, he was overwhelmed with panic and frantically searched for a way out of the room. He went to the window, screaming frantically. No answer. The butler stepped into the garden, and the young man started screaming in a hysterical voice. But it was as if his shouts didn't exist. The young man became more and more desperate. Soon he heard heavy footsteps slowly making their way toward the door. Who could it be but a hired assassin coming to get him? It was true. He was going to die. His time had finally come. He searched for something, anything, with which to defend himself, but found nothing. He heard the key turning in the lock. The handle moved. The door opened. Standing in the darkness of the corridor was a murky shadow that turned into the substantial figure of a man, veiled by a wide-brimmed hat. A man who plunged his hand into his pocket. A weapon! The young man was sure of it. But instead, the mysterious stranger drew out a piece of paper instead. He lifted his head, and the young man saw it was the instant millionaire. "You forgot the piece of paper with your exercises on it," he said. "What is the meaning of this grotesque scenario you just played out?" the young man said. "I could sue you, you know." The millionaire simply smiled. "But they're only words. A word scribbled on a piece of paper. A few words on a computer screen. Didn't you tell me you didn't believe in the power of words? Look at the state you're in. I just wanted to give you a quick lesson. Experience is a much better teacher than mere theory. Experience is life. Now, do you understand the power that words have? Their power is so great, they don't even need to be true to have an effect on people. I assure you, I did not have at any time any criminal intentions toward you." "How was I supposed to know that?" said the young man, gradually calming down. "You could have used your head and reasoned things out. Why on earth would I want to kill you? You should have relied on your sense of logic. Yet, did you notice how powerless logic is in a situation like this? You were truly in despair. The mistake you made was not in reading the words, but in believing them. By doing so, you instinctively obeyed one of the greatest laws governing the human mind. When imagination and logic are in conflict with each other, the imagination invariably takes over." Here is another example of the power of belief, one you may have experienced yourself. Let's say you've just finished watching The Matrix, and the film hits you in a way you weren't expecting. You walk out of your home, putting on an old jacket you haven't worn in a while, slide your hand into your pocket, and you pull out a blue M&M and a red M&M. A blue pill, a red pill. The synchronicity shocks your system. It feels personal, intentional. And in that moment, you decide that if you take the red M&M, the red pill, something profound will happen to you that day. And here's the key. If you believe that, if you embody that belief, your system will react as though that tiny red M&M truly meant something. Not because the M&M has power, but because the belief you activated about what happens when you eat the M&M becomes a directive that creates what's about to unfold. That's the mechanics of your reality. The story doesn't matter. We humans spend so much of our time worrying about the future, experiencing fear and anxiety over things that may or may not happen, most of which never will because they're products of our imagination. We assign meaning to words, ideas, and assumptions that have nothing to do with reality, unless we choose to believe them. When we live in the present moment, this doesn't happen. We have emotional responses to what we choose to believe is true, often believing things that people say about us that aren't true at all. They're simply the assumptions and perceptions that person has about us. It has nothing to do with us, unless we choose to accept it as true. In the story, the young man's body was flooded with stress hormones from the panic he was experiencing, creating a very real physiological impact on both his body and his state of mind. 𝗪𝗫 expresses this beautifully. At your core, the only thing that is true is that you are made from unconditional love of all that is and that you exist. That's it. Everything else is simply a definition or conditional belief that you have chosen to place upon yourself, or that you have simply accepted the definitions and views of others and made it true for yourself. The words we choose reinforce our condition, as well as reveal to us our belief systems." End quote. The words you believe about yourself and your reality reinforce that reality by shaping your perception. Understanding the power of words is one of the greatest powers you wield. My question to the architect. My friend, with my thoughts on the power of belief and the placebo effect, what is a practical method we can use to take advantage of the power of the placebo effect to shape our belief when we know that we are struggling with an opposing belief, such as having a health condition where we intellectually understand and believe we can heal from it, yet understanding that belief and embodying it feel like two completely different things? And here is the sharing. Beloved, your thoughts beautifully illuminate the truth that belief is not just a mental concept, it is an organizing principle of your entire reality, shaping not only perception, but biology, emotion, and experience. To your question, how do you practically work with the placebo effect when you intellectually believe you can heal, but emotionally or subconsciously still carry doubt? Here is a grounded, practical method: turning belief into embodiment. Number 1, name the doubt without judgment. Acknowledge the inner resistance without judgment. Say, part of me wants to believe I can heal, but part of me doubts. Bringing this into conscious awareness opens space for transformation. Number 2, use a bridge belief. Instead of trying to jump from belief to certainty, create a stepping stone belief that feels more believable. I'm learning how to trust in my body's intelligence. Every day, I'm getting better at trusting in and believing in my healing. These are transitional thoughts that soften resistance. Number 3, pair belief with action. Do something that reinforces your bridge belief. Gently place your hand over a part of the body that needs healing and say, I see you, I believe in you, I restore you. Number 4, drink water as a ceremony of belief. This is medicine for my cells. This links thought with behavior, giving your belief a body. Number 5, engage in micro-evidence gathering. Each day, write down one subtle sign of improvement, even if it's simply that you feel calmer. Your mind needs evidence to rewire. Creating a record of healing, no matter how small, helps you embody belief. If no improvement is felt or visible, write down one moment of presence. It could be a second of peace while watching a tree out the window, or a pet sleeping, the feeling of someone holding your hand, the quiet moment between thoughts. These are not signs of healing in the traditional sense. They are signs of awareness, which brings you into alignment with a coherent state, and coherence is healing in itself. Even when experiencing decline, the body can experience moments of alignment, grace, and spiritual clarity. Noticing them does not deny the reality of what's unfolding. It simply anchors you in the beauty and connection of the present moment. Your inner state always holds power. Remember that healing doesn't always mean returning to how things were. Sometimes the illness itself is the journey, an initiation into deeper aspects of self-discovery. The soul chooses experiences not to punish, but to expand. And even in pain, you are always growing in ways your mind may not yet understand. Number 6, visualize from the now state. Not, I will be healed someday. This delays the outcome. Instead say, I am living in a body that is healing now. I feel it. I sense it. I'm witness to it. Engage all 5 senses in your visualizations. This tells your nervous system, this is happening now. Number 7, speak your new reality. Your cells respond to language. Speak your healing aloud as if it were already true. My body knows how to heal. I'm getting stronger. My energy is aligning. I trust my process. This isn't pretending, it's entraining your body to a frequency of truth. Placebo is not a trick. It is the truth of how powerful your mind-body connection really is. When belief becomes embodied, felt, spoken, acted upon, your reality has no choice but to shift. All right, let's summarize some key lessons here. Number 1, whatever you choose to believe is true becomes your truth, shaping your reality. It doesn't matter if those words are true in the objective sense. Your belief shapes your emotional, energetic, and physical response to those words, in turn shaping your reality. Number 2, words hold tremendous power. If you believe them to be true, so use them wisely. Define them consciously and with discernment. Never accept a definition that contracts you, that diminishes you. Number 3, living in the present moment is the key to longevity. When you live in the now state, you suspend psychological time. You reduce fear, worry, anxiety, and shift into timeless awareness, where healing becomes possible and aging slows its grip. Number 4, you are the one shaping your reality, not the world, not other people, not circumstances. What you accept as true becomes the filter through which you see yourself and the entire world. Shift your belief, and your entire reality organizes itself around that shift. So, when I tell you that your beliefs shape your reality, this isn't metaphor. It's the mechanics of your reality. Choose your beliefs consciously and with awareness. Define your words wisely and with discernment, and let every choice you make reflect the future you intend to step into, because your reality always rearranges itself to match the truth you decide is yours. Remember, the reality you experience next begins with the belief you choose now. And with that, we'll bring this to a close. Questions, comments, or sharings, leave them below. I read them all. If you like the sharing and you'd like to hear more, please hit the like button. That helps me know if you're inspired by my teachings. And thank you for listening and being a part of this beautiful community where we practice choosing beliefs that expand us, elevating us above collective assumptions by choosing the definitions that align us with our unlimited nature. Superhuman made simple with the architect.